Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say hello and welcome. Welcome to Ashford Garley Live on this beautiful Friday night as we come to you from Detroit. I'm sorry. As we come to you from Monrovia, Liberia. And I'm used to doing the program from the States, so please bear with me. We're still in Liberia. We're still in West Africa, Liberia. And it feels great to be back on, folks. I'm telling you. Tonight, we want to know the way forward for the newly elected senators. The people have spoken. The elections are over. We want to now know what our new senators have in store for Liberia and the Liberian people. We will also be taking a look at some numbers. We will begin with Montserrat County. We'll go from district to district and tell you how Darius DeLong. Don't take my word for it. You remember yesterday when I asked the question, what is wrong with the website of the National Election Commission? There was a reason why I asked that question. Because people from other parts of the world, they want to visit the next website and get first-hand information. But the ECOWAS got involved. A call was placed by some of the international journalists and some of the international observers. And they contacted ambassadors from France, from London, the United States, the ECOWAS, the EU. And just like that, the website came back on. And today, we have some numbers for you from the website of the National Election Commission. But just before then, winning election is one thing. What are your plans? What would you want your legacy to look like after 9 years of serving as senator? Now you know you can't play with the Liberian people, right? And just before I go any further, is it true that George Weah is in Nima County? If so, what is he doing there? Is it true that George Weah is hanging out now with Prince Johnson in Nima County? Somebody please send me George Weah's number, man. Let me call this. This is my big brother, the godfather of Liberia, and ask him, where are you? The Black Diamond of Africa. Folks, as always, please allow me to borrow the wordings of the wise man. Tough times don't last, tough people do. The height of a man is never known until he rises, because there's no second chance to make that first impression. Don't see okra and swallow bone, because you can't hide your nakedness from beef and bucket. When God bless you, don't see that medicine. When white men know you friend black men. When you see crawfish coming from underneath the water and see the crocodile here sweating, don't see the lie. Trust no shadow in the dog. But see him blue. Siko uri aye pelia. Kira setu pa ye ge. Se bon pro ran je ko mo kira ji. Ye ure no muzo ni wo je madobo. To dry. Adu adi wapo. The medicine of the microphone, the golden voice of Liberia, the broadcast commissioner, the brother who doesn't eat iron, but he's definitely stronger than a lion. Ashford the Giant, and now you know me, Garley. Welcome. Okay. That's right. Once again, folks, welcome to another fascinating edition of Ashford Garley Live. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you Volcano Shelton. Shelton, please unmute your mic. Welcome to the show, my brother. How's everything?
Oh man, Ashford, good to be back here. This gorgeous Friday. It's not too bad here in the States, especially in the Philadelphia area. Good weather, we enjoying it. It's expected to be 60 degrees tomorrow. So imagine we're here in winter, but it doesn't feel like that yet. We had a little sample of flurries the other day, but it wasn't much of anything. It didn't even stick to the grounds. So we're still enjoying what I would consider the fall weather so far. But I know you out there hot. It's kind of dry. I can see from your complexion. You look a little more darker than normal. But when you come back, you're going to shine up. You're doing it for Mother Liberia and making sure that you're bringing the news to the people.
That's right. And I have to spend the Christmas year. I have to bring in the new year before coming back to the States. So, I have a lot to do in terms of dealing with the warm weather,
Yeah, absolutely. So it's good to have you back. I know you did a little bit this morning. You called me, but I was asleep, my man.
Oh,
You had a little quick 30 minutes to follow up on Jefferson Kochi being in Vonjama, right?
that's right. And interestingly, Jefferson Koji came out and he said he didn't go to Lofa. The information was in fact false and misleading. And then later on tonight, I still got a call from Lofa that that's not true. He was in fact that. So who's telling the truth? We just don't know. And we just got information now that the president is in Nima. The president is hanging out in Nima. The Ganta heading towards Sani Kwede. I don't know what the president is doing in Nima. This is what we're getting. If anybody can just authenticate the information, we appreciate it.
But they have CCTV around the country, so hopefully it'll get picked up. Because that's one of the things the president said. If you want security, get your own CCTV. So those people who, said that the people are around those areas, let them go live, Facebook, and record something, take photos. Because, we don't want too much of speculations. This is not a season for it, especially in
Right.
these elections.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have a joint statement from the embassies. Let's say the ambassadors and the ECOWAS, the EU. Again, earlier I said for some reason we couldn't see the website up from NEC, and people were asking, what do you want from the website? It is important because this is how we are going to bring to the folks in real time as to who's doing well. And the statement that we have from the joint statement that we have, I want you to please read the statement to the audience. Sheldon.
All right, 1 second. Let me grab my glasses here because we're aging now. So, but this statement came out today. It actually came out today, December 11th, Monrovia, the United Nations in Liberia, ECOWAS, embassies of member states of the African Union, the EU delegation, and the embassies of the EU member states that includes France, Germany, Ireland, Sweden, the Embassy of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and the Embassy of the United States of America commend the Liberian people and government, as well as political leaders, civil society organizations, and the media for peaceful conduct of the December 8th midterm senatorial elections and constitutional referendum. We have been inspired by the strong commitment to democracy expressed by Liberians in these elections. We express appreciation for the efforts of the National Elections Commission, the NEC, and in particular poll workers present at polling places across the country, as well as those mobilized on elections day, including domestic observers and members of security forces, for the overall smooth and orderly running of the elections. We welcome and support the announcement by the NEC that those electoral irregularities and incidents identified during the election day will be properly addressed. As the tallying process by the NEC continues, we underscore the importance that all political parties, leaders, and supporters, as well as candidates, respect this process and wait patiently. I repeat, wait patiently until the tallying is completed and the results are officially announced. We again recall the commitments made by stakeholders in the Code of Conduct to ensure a peaceful and transparent electoral process. We call on all political parties, leaders, candidates, and media actors to renounce the use of inciting language and premature declarations of victory. We also call on political leaders and candidates to pursue any disputes through peaceful means and dialogue in accordance with the law. International partners continue to follow closely the electoral process. We are confident in the strong commitment of the people of Liberia to democracy, peace, and stability, and remain fully resolute to continuing our support to Liberians in their development and peace building efforts. So this is a joint statement, as I say, it came quickly as a recap from the United Nations in Liberia, ECOWAS, embassies of member states of the African Union, the EU delegation, and the embassies of the EU member states, including France, Germany, Ireland, and Sweden, and the embassy of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and the United States embassy.
That alone should tell you that the whole world is watching over Liberia as people exercise their rights to vote. And so far, so good. Elections are over.
Yeah.
And why don't we talk about the way forward, especially for the elected senators? I know some people say it's too close to call, but Shelton, it's going to be a big change.
Yeah, and again, there will be winners. So even if you were incumbent and a newcomer, there is a lot of expectations. Ashford, we're talking 9 years, and this is serious business. Don't come in here thinking that is personal aggrandizement. Oh, the big fat salary and the benefits, and that's all to it. You got to work for the people because come 2023, it's not going to go, as expected. Now, Liberians and those who in power see that the people will prevail. And this is the time for people to start thinking how you're going to change the landscape, especially at the leadership level. This is not business as usual. It's not going to happen.
And with that said, this is a passion plea for the elected senators, not to condemn them today, but to evoke their conscience. Now the question now becomes, what will be your legacy when you look back after 9 years? Let me begin with Brani Samukai. I know the race in Lofa is too close to call. There's a guy in Lofa that is very competitive, going against Minister Samukai. But the good news for this guy is, from his district, he has over 8,000 votes.
Mm.
And Brani was first in the lead, but Brani's district has not been touched. So we expect to see more surprises as we go along. But let me just say this to Brandon Samukai. We want to stop the politics or the politics. This guy was Minister of Defense for 12 years, one of the longest of 7 ministers on Ellen Johnson's leave.
Uninterrupted.
I'm telling you, most people felt his service was wasted, and he left power, or the regime changed. Now, if or when given the opportunity, he will be given a second chance. When I spoke with Brandon and asked him about his involvement with Lofa County, he said he started about 2.5 years ago. But overall, he said he did extremely well for the entire country as defense minister. So the people in Lofa, at the end of the day, after NEC speaks, they will make a decision as to who becomes the next senator of Lofa County. I want you to touch on Browning, and then we can move to Edwin Snow.
Well, I mean, it was all in the media. It was no secret. Honorable Samukai had some issues as Minister of Defense. He was linked to, corruption, considering the military benefits. There was also a scandal with him being involved with the Cochrane case, where he said some things and everyone thought Ellen was going to fire him. So he doesn't have a blank slate, to say the truth. He also has his own, character clearance to do. And like you said, if he just got involved with bombing, Lofa County in the last 2 years, it's said because he wanted to run as senator. Um, but again, he claims to, have served the greater country. But hopefully, the people of Lofa, if he were to win, will hope to get more out of his senatorial seat. Because again, if he didn't do much only in the last 2 years, then that's not cool. So let's hope that, I will plead tonight to these incoming folks that they will put the people first, put their communities first, do things in their constituencies rather than just stay in Morovia and that's it, and forget about the people for 9 years. That would be the worst thing any senator should do, or a representative.
Former Speaker Edwin Snow, uh, he was represented for a long time in District 6. He started doing some productivity in Bowman, moved to Bowman, and became representative in Bowman. Became representative in Bowman, and then went on to throw the tower in, throw the hat in to contest as senator. Edwin Snow is one of the longest serving politicians we have. This board understands Liberian politics. Despite the president, attempt to uh, to campaign against Snow. Snow is still doing well in bombing, and he might end up winning as senator of Bowman County. Now, people have already started calling Edwin Snow President pro tem. But Snow had his share of corruption. He had his share of abuse of power. You know, when he was the son-in-law to the ex-president, those boys thought they owned the country, so they can do anything, you know, and nobody will go after them. Nobody ask them question. So, but to join the good people, for God's sake, we want Edwin Snow to stop the dabbling and the dibbling. Because at the end of the day, when the good people come together, it will make it hard for George Weah to just sit at the executive and run things. Now, I want to touch on George Weah, have a little piece of advice for him, but come in on Edwin Snow.
So yeah, I mean, Snow can be considered a good and a bad guy. All right, he's done some good things, especially in Bowman County since he took office as representative. Um, it's what you can do for your country or for your community or for your people rather than what they do for you. And he was able to demonstrate that to business employment compared to Alex Dollar. I don't know how much Alex Dollar did for the people of Bowman County, and that's why he's hitting a brick wall, in these elections. So for Snow to come all the way from wherever he was born and grew up to come into Bowman County and be a force and a presence, that speaks volume. And that should tell you that even Ashford Garley, who hails from Grand Gita County, right, can go to Bowman County and make a difference if it means well for the people. Volcano Shelton from GSA Road, Painesville, Montserrat County can go to Grand Gita. Even though I haven't been there, I've been to River Bear and that of River G and that of Maryland, Hopper. But I can go to Sano County in Grand Crew in the president's backyard and make a difference if I meant well for the people. So I think this is about time for our, people who come to these public positions represented by the people need to do well for the people, for those people communities. You don't have to build skyscrapers. You got to have substance, okay? And you got to put a substance in place that will help to enhance the people's well-being. And if it's just one little community library, or if it's one, public latrine or something, but we can do more. And we expect rather than them fighting for these $15,000 monthly salary, $1,000, 1,000 gallons of fuel, and all these things, they should be thinking about what they can do for the people, utilizing the county development funds in a way that it would do well for the people. We need a decentralized government. We need to move out into the counties. That's why Morovia is so crap. Look at how crap is Morovia, and you've seen it. You're right there. People need to go back into the, villages, the towns, their communities. But until these people who represent in Monrovia are doing well for those places, then nothing gonna happen. And so you're
And
gonna have all these people just ganged up in Monrovia and making it so difficult to survive.
and Liberians have already found the solution to vote the bad people out of office. And
You're
you
right.
saw for the last couple of days. And I'm going to say this to the elected senators. Today, most Liberians are happy for you, but you don't want to make this all about yourself. You don't want to make this about self-interest. What are you going to do for the Liberian people? And then for those of the senators who find themselves with the CDC, you should now start thinking about putting country first, how to cross party line, and say, you know what, let us put the interest of the country first, because if you don't do that, you will also be jobless. Just how George Weah might be jobless in 2023. And my little caveat to George Weah now is, Mr. President, you will not be the first one to lose a midterm election, But the reality is the country is leaving you behind. Mr. President, you have to be a servant. Some ideas are to change your entire cabinet. Ellen did. Didn't work, but George, you have to make a bold moves. You have to do that. You have to come out more often. You got to speak to your people. Listen, George Weah can have a conversation from night till day. Why is he not doing that to the Liberian people? The people didn't vote for the opposition because they hate George Weah. They wanted to send a message to him. And we're hoping that he gets the message. Because it will only be good for his legacy. I want you to touch on George Weah, and then we'll go to Dillon.
Yeah, and actually you said it right. I think the man can hold a lengthy conversation. And whether it's intellectual or whether it's layman, I think he needs to talk a lot more. And if you recall, Charles Taylor didn't, run from the microphone, and he didn't have to be that formal. He spoke and he joked and he said what he wanted to say in strong terms. He said, listen, if you think that one of the examples I'll give is that rate you're carrying up by tomorrow morning, if you made that rate 50, then you're on your own, right? So those kinds of way of talking.
You ain't got gas by 12 o'clock. If there's no gasoline at the gas station, you better close the gas station.
So we know that there are 3 missing boys in the country. Mr. President comes on and says, listen, if I don't see those 3 missing boys in my office or at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the next week, some people, the BB hands they're talking about, will go after those big hands, right? And then you'll see things happening. But the president is mute on all of the national issues in the country. And it's not good for the country. It is not good for the people. And I think President Weah has the ability to talk. He just needs to talk. And he doesn't have to be so formal. He can just be as informal as it is. Because people already know his strength and his weakness. But it doesn't mean that he should just stay silent because the people say, oh, the man can't speak English. No, yeah, can speak English. There's the sound. But he just got to put into practice and he got to continue to deliver to the people. And honestly, hopefully this is a wake-up call, like you said, for him.
Well, we want to talk about Dillon. You remember when Darius Dillon said, you can put George Weah on the ballot, put Akaras Gray on the ballot, put Thomas Fowler on the ballot, put Muna Penn on the ballot, may her soul rest in peace, as if he knew what he was talking about. And Shelton, as we went out on election day, or even the day before election, people who work in the government were saying, I don't want to be on camera because I work for the government. But this is a bad leadership and we have to send a message. I don't know what these boys were depending on, Shelton, when some of them said they will commit suicide. Mm-hmm. When some of them said they will resign their position. Yeah. Well, let's take a listen to this brief song. Then we'll come back and go and take a look at the stocks in Monserrado County. All right.
You not see woman, you go take a jada, take a jada, you take a jada, take a jada, you go take a jada, take a jada, you go take a jada, take a jada, you go take a jada.
You didn't wait for the people to vote. Then you say you resign as chairman of your party. You didn't wait for the people to vote. Then you say you would kill yourself
You go take a jada. Take a jada.
if Dara Dillon wins.
Take a jada.
You didn't wait for the people to vote.
You go take a jada.
And you said that you take out your hair and put dog hair there if Dara Dillon wins.
You go take a jada.
Oh, you depend on. You went for them to say, I want to have 2 more children. But if Dara Dillon win, I will not have children again. So what happened?
You not see
What
what
happened to the 2 children?
take a jada. Take a jada. You take a jada.
Now let us take a listen.
Take a jada.
Let us take a look at the
Take a jada. You go take a
district, the federal district in Monroe County. Shall you be shocked?
You go take
So
a
I
jada.
know you wanted to put some humor in it, yeah, because you don't see the gift, but you already see it, or you already commenting. Like you know what's in the bag. This is almost like giant fish in the bag. So
You go
yes, I
take
hope that they will extend all the promises they made. Over Molu will resign, as he said it. I saw him making that affirmation. Whoever else said that they will kill themselves, well, we're not wishing for that. But again, yes, I think these guys were too complacent on the popularity sentiments that President Weah came to power with. And they wanted to equate themselves because they're rubbing shoulder with President Weah. Don't get me wrong. President Weah is still a formidable force. The Liberian people, there are overwhelming number of people who are still in love with this man. But that doesn't mean that his following, some of the guys who are around him, enjoy that same confidence. You understand me? And that's why they failed to realize, and they didn't do the work very well. And they thought that we are lifting their hands up, it meant victory. You know. So again, Ashford, I think we should go to the clips and go from there and see.
Not the clips, but what we have here from the National Election Commission.
Oh, you mean the results, the preliminary results?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
16 districts, okay, have started giving out results already, and 52% is done. And out of the 16 districts, Thomas Father only won 3. Dara Dillon came out winning 13, or at least in the lead of 13 districts.
And I heard where his university is, including where his university or his school.
District 5.
Wow.
Where he built schools, high school and university. Dara Dillon came out in flying colors. Now, Dara Dillon stands at 107,685, which represents 60.86% of the vote. Thomas Fala, 64,100 at 36.23% of the vote. This is where we are now, Shelton, in Monroe County, as it relates to the competition between Thomas Fala and Dara Dillon. And there's no way that these votes can be tampered with. They're on the website of NEC.
Yeah, and you know, Ashford,
Yes.
the thing that's puzzling, and one of the things that Dara said in his press conference the other day, or press briefing, not conference, but rather press briefing when he went to Cool FM, it is glaring that at the end of the elections, right, Ashford, they take these results and post them on the bulletin, the tally sheet, before they close that precinct, right? And so if the guy already know what he has there, what's all these formalities about to say you want to keep tabulating until you get the final score, when the man already constitutionally knows that he's in the lead, precinct by precinct by precinct by precinct, because they do the tally, and you were there for one of those tallies where he had 139 and his opponent, meaning Fala, had 50. So that tells you across every, voting station, there were counts done. So they already know. So what all delay and carrying on like it has to be so ceremonious and all of that. So that's why the guy is saying that there's no way he can be cheated. Because he's way, way, way ahead of his.
The only way you can attempt to cheat when the votes are close, they're
Mhm.
nowhere near close. They're nowhere near close. Now in Nima County, Mrs. Edith Gonglo Ware, they have 9 electoral districts in that county. And she's leading in 5 districts out of the 9. And her numbers continue to go up. And I'm still listening for somebody to authenticate the story that the president is in Nima, hanging out with Prince Johnson, trying to go to the voting station to see if we can do some type of tactic there. Because if you can't play tactic on Darrell Dillon, then you want to find somewhere that you think that the votes are a little closer.
And muddy the water.
God, look, George Weah is ordered by himself, and he will not rest until he does something for the people to say, Jeff faced the fact. Jeff know that you blundered, and the Liberian people came out and said to you, Mr. President, you need to wake up. You need to really wake up. And this is just one time that the people have to fire you or hire you. And again, I will say this to even the senators. You remember a year ago when Moluba Molu said that if their president lift your hand, you will not win. Because the president is ordered by himself. You also remember when Moluba Molu said that the president will go out and get money, bring it in the country, and instruct his finance people that the money I went and brought is not about Liberia. Even though you say it on behalf of Liberia, you make it seem that's his own money. You will go and ask for sexual favors from women in exchange for sex.
For job.
In exchange for sex.
You mean job.
Give them job, yeah, of course, in exchange for sex. But one thing here is, we can say this all we want about Davietta Brown Lastana. They can talk about her private life and everything. But I'm telling you, this woman has future. Look at Vonnie Sherman today. And the path that George Weah is on now, where he thinks he owns this country, where he can do anything he wants to do, the Liberian people have a way of telling you, no, not so fast. And if he's not careful, he will run into a bigger trouble. Not only with Liberia, but with the international community. Shelton?
And that's often where the buck stops. You can do your stuff eternally, but when the international community gets involved, then it speaks volume, and then you run the risk of having to deal with not just eternal crisis, but also external crisis. But again, listen, do you have any idea when this election final count, and when these people are going to say this thing? We already know who are some of the winners, man. Well, what are dragging their feet for?
Again, the chairperson of the National Election Commission, they're saying they are doing what they have to do to finally get the numbers out there. They will be working tomorrow. Perhaps they might work on Sunday. We need the numbers out. We need the result as soon as possible. And the official result will come from them. But then something Darrow said the other day, he said the fact that the United Nations is the official voice in terms of telling you who won the election, it doesn't mean that we don't have our tally sheets.
Absolutely.
Tally sheets are available to all of the top 2 candidates. And any attempt to tamper with these sheets, alarm will blow.
I hear that one for a long time. Alarm blow. And when I remember blow alarm, that's more alarm.
That's my line, brother.
Yeah, but okay. So we covered now. We covered Nima and Bomi, and now and Maserati County. Let's look at Grand Bassa. This guy who is linked to the passport, selling our passport, decided to resign his position as foreign minister, meaning Besson guy Finlay
Yeah.
went to unseat, hopefully try to unseat Yambli Kanga Lawrence.
Mhm.
What is it there? I mean, looks like there now at this time.
Well, according to the results, both Yombly and Westinghouse are competitive.
Hmm.
They're very close. And pundits are now saying it shouldn't be like this. I think they want to tamper with these votes because you will have the opportunity to do something crazy if you have just 1 percentage point in terms of the difference between the both of you. So we are still in the process of counting, But again, Finney and Yumley are neck to neck in Grand Bassa County.
And I think the reason why it happens that way because Buchanan City and its surrounding is where the population density takes place, not in the legal parts of the county, you know. And so maybe that's where all this fight is. And the name Bezonga, meaning the Basso man, in itself
Right.
is a
Wesson.
representation. Yeah. Huh? Say that again.
I said Wesson guy. I was repeating what you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. So probably that's why it's that close because everybody competing for the same, you know, community and population, especially in the Buchanan area and the surroundings like coming down Bokestown, in a highway, St. John and all those areas. Basigat Town, those places, Joblo Town, all around, Buchanan itself. Um, but we'll see who will emerge winner.
Now, in Bassa, in District Number 1, let us look at Wesson Finney. He has 2,470 votes. That counts for 37.3%. And Yombli Kanga has 3,423. That represents 51.69%. That's District 1 in Grand Bassa. District Number 2, Western Garfine, 1,641 or 45, beg your pardon. That counts for 35.89%. Yombli Kanga, 1,808, 39%. That's District 2. So she's leading on in the first two districts. District 3, Western Garfine, 6,237. That's 50.18%. Yombli Kanga Lawrence, 44.64%. That's 5,549 votes. Then we move to District 4. Western Garfine, 2,995. That's 30.32%. Kanga Lawrence, 1,945, 19.69%. District 5, Western Garfine, 871, 31.21%. Kanga Lawrence, 1,362, 48.8%. Now, the total vote after counting on as to who leads we have Bryson Gaffini at 14,218 votes, which counts for 39.16%. Yombly Kanga Lawrence, 14,087, which counts for 38.8%. So he has a slash edge over Yombly.
In that district.
No, what I just said is the
Overall?
Yes, overall right now.
But as people are rightly saying that NEC just came up with the result
Well,
that
maybe.
Yumlik has won. But I'm not
Well,
going to give credence to that.
Well, I'm reading from the website now of NEC, so perhaps they need some updating to do. But what
Yeah,
we have
maybe they
right
haven't
now,
updated the website yet because you're
yeah,
talking almost 11 o'clock over there.
exactly.
Midnight. I mean, I'll go into midnight.
Now I know we have to run there in a little bit, but let's talk about River G a little bit. There's something that interests me about River G. Our friend and brother is in the race. He played professional soccer many years ago, and he decided to jump in the race in River G. And River G has 3 electoral districts. In district number 1, Mr. Jennington Sipwe, Ball Chaz, is in the lead there by 1,985 votes, which puts him at 44.8%. Followed closely by J. Matthew at 1,099 votes at 24.8%.
Mm-hmm.
Then we move to district number 2 in River G. Ball Chaz, Jonathan Sipwe, 2,379 votes, 39.94%. Further closely this time by Balde Charles Coco, 1,479 votes, 24.83%. Then in district number 3, Borchas again, 2,280 votes, 51.64%. Further closely by J. Matthew again, independent candidate. Borchas represent no, I think I misread it one. I beg your pardon. That's not Ball Charles. This is Charles Coco. I beg your pardon. 2,280 votes at 51%. Jonathan Sibwe is at 13% in this district. He has only 608 votes. Now, if we look at the total from River G, and see who's in the lead now, we have Mr. Jonathan Sibwe at 33.59%. Total votes, 4,972. Followed closely by Body Charles Coco, 4,598, 31.06%. And that's River G for you, Shelton.
And that's a very small voting, populace, though. Very,
That's
very
right.
small. Under 10,000
That's right.
for between the two of them, under 10,000. So that's a close race too. I see 400, a little over 400 is the gap there between Jonathan Sugby and that of the other guy. But again, I think the people across the country are looking for change. and you can see some of the folks that they're bringing to the Senate. Um, people with substance. Boy Charles is a very, intelligent man, and I think that he's seeing what happened across, the country and over time. And we'll hope that if he were to win, he will also uh, have, River G at heart and the country, as a whole. And what we talked about earlier is these guys who are coming in as change instruments will live up to those campaign promises they made. And like Dara said, sometimes it's not about, again, the infrastructure. It is the change that you put in place. One of the things Dara said was, why when it comes to making decisions, we got to go in caucus behind closed door, especially decisions that impact the entire country. It's supposed to be in the open. It's supposed to be in the open. But when some people decide to confirm somebody because the president has favor of that person, then they want to split up the decision. Some people go, behind the scene, because I wear all the little thing can, share change hands rather, and this is not good. This is not good. So these guys who are coming in, the newer people, hopefully to come as change instruments, to help hold the other branches of government foot to the fire. Because
And
it will just be a waste of time. It will just be a waste of resources. It will be a waste of the Liberian people time for these guys to go back and just become, a clique and do nothing for the people. Yeah, I don't know
and,
where else Liberia can turn to. Honestly,
and
that happens.
I want to see for the first time now that these opposition politicians are speaking. I want to see for the first time what we can at least have the balance of power, where the executive would not be the one to just call, call the shots. You know, you guys are getting paid big time. You know, but if you just continue to allow the executive to say, you know what, I want you to pass this a deal, you know, that is not going to work. And that's one of the reasons why the people voted the way they did. And again, I will send the same message to the CDC lawmakers: go across party lines and put your country first. It shouldn't all be about yourself. Give George Reaction tough time. He shouldn't just walk away and get anything that he wants. Before these elections, George Weah gets anything he wants. Sometimes you even made a mistake and signed the wrong concession agreement. And this is not the time now. And with these senators coming in, we already had a few senators in there that would join the Darius Dillon, so the Jala or Samukai. I say the Jala or Samukai because these guys are neck to neck in Lo-Fi, you know. And the Moe, the guy in Bone County, is doing extremely well. He's way above 51%. The Edith Gonglo Ware. Now, I don't know whether this is true. George Weah must have had interest in Nima County for him to be there with Prince Johnson this late. If that is true, what are they trying to do? I'm told Edith is in hiding. Where is she hiding from? You know? But again, don't take this lightly. The Liberian people have a way of coming back at you. And when they do so, you will be retired. So what Ellis Tyler going to do now? He was speaker before. He went and he was appointed as some board chair at the Asela Mitad. People got angry. We spoke out. The president recalled him. And we all know that Ellis Tyler is corruption King Kong. I don't know why the president likes to associate with corrupt people. I really don't understand.
Is
Sheldon,
that
we
is
got to go.
that is that is that because birds of the same feather flock together?
Of course. Of course.
Oh goodness. You know.
You
Yeah,
know,
but
and like I said, when George Weah was in the things of football, he called on the United Nations, he called on the Accords, he called on the world and said, "My country is bleeding. I want you to come and intervene." Now, on your watch as president, we can't find the missing three balls. People are getting killed mysteriously, and he says and does nothing. You know, and that's one of the things that really pissed the people off. This when you talk to these people, Sheldon, they will say to you, "Listen, we work for the government, but this is a wicked government. The people don't give a damn about us. It is
mm,
all about themselves." You know, you have a or I mean, Shelton, why would it take this boy to electrify? That's it. Start with Monserrato. I know Eddie had the opportunity. She was there for 12 years. She got some donors money and all that. But you came for change. Look, I was listening to one guy the other night. The guy said the biggest mistake that George Weah made was to come to power right off the bat and started building homes, breaking down your old homes and building new ones. Why you didn't build these homes when you play soccer? And then when you say these and they say, "Oh, the man have money. The man have what money George Weah had?" When George Weah was senator, that people drunk they used to use in the bathroom to flush the toilet. Then you say George Weah had money. He never had running water when he was senator in 2014 or prior to the election. Man became president. The next thing you know, start paving his way to his place, breaking down homes, building them. I mean, how many homes one man needs? My three-lay bedroom there in America said it too big for me. Yeah, man, my brother.
yeah,
Again,
but
all of
listen,
those
listen,
incoming senators want to say a big thank you to you, and just come and pull Liberia fresh, and we will all work together. But when you attempt to join the wicked people, to join the people that don't mean well for the country, British Radio Africa will go after you. Remember, every money is not good money. I'd rather sit down and eat my dry bread than to give me money that will say, sit down and regret. Some of our friends, I compromise, Shelton.
a lot of them.
You know this is black and you call it white because you take small money.
Mhm.
And I want to recognize Vera Tier from London. She just sent me the 50 euro. I also want to recognize my brother Tanu Jala from Minnesota. He sent me $100, for the job that we'll do here to help out with scratch card and keep the internet going, which is a good thing. And we hope that others will imitate a good example and show some love to British Radio. There's a cell phone that Shelton, you just went and spent over $200 to buy lights. The people come on here to see us, with these
And that's
platforms.
that's out of pocket.
You know,
But listen though, uh, I hope the money they're saying you will be able to get it the way you have it for it. But this is what I wanted to quickly say. The first disclaimer that President Weah put forth was we inherited a broke government, Ashford. That was the first disclaimer. He should have known what he was coming into. You know, you can see a beautiful woman and all day you behind this woman and you don't know what you're gonna expect. And then when you get a woman now you say you didn't know her ways were bad. You wanted to be president of Liberia while you were in the Senate. You should have done your survey, your homework to know, you know, where the country was financially. You could work in the Senate there, mobilize some of your people to bring in the governor of the Bank of Liberia, the finance minister for planning economic development, whatever it's called, Those people will come and make reports with credible documents that you guys could look at. But you fail to do those things, then you go to run for presidency. You come, the first thing you say, "Oh, we inherit a broke government." When you were in the Senate, you could have invited those people to tell you where the government stood, rather than wait until you come to power. But then not only that, you inherited a broke government. How can you inherit a broke government and then within a year you're building all these big houses? You know, $16 billion disappear, no head, no tail, $25 million. So, so what you wanted people to believe? What is it that you wanted people to believe? And so the people say, at this time, we're not taking your word, we're going to act. And that's why it's happening now. Whatever the circumstances, hopefully, uh, when these elections does settle, the right people will come to the Senate and help, to make transformation. We only asking for transformation. We want change that will catapult our country forward. We've lagged for so many years. And when Liberian people overwhelmingly trusted, this government that will bring the change necessary, here we are. In fact, rather than making progress, we're regressing on a daily basis. All these young boys getting rich, and it's palpable. You can see it. They're building homes, they're buying big cars, they're going on shopping spree. Some of them come to America. They don't seek aid for the communities. These senators, these representatives, they just come in the Philadelphia area, have fun, drink alcohol, buy suits, and get back on the plane and go back. And we see them around here. And unfortunately, you know, uh, this not going to help the country go forward, actually, until these guys put substance to where substance belongs.
Thank you, Shelton. Again, we want to call this a night. Tomorrow is Saturday. I don't know what you think.
I
Uh,
think we should. I
I,
think
I
we should
think
come back.
tonight
Let's.
we're working tomorrow.
I
Let's see
think
if we
we
can
should come back.
let's
Let's see if we can
see if we can
resuscitate some of the.
continue to put these numbers together.
I'm
And
not.
for the folks out there,
Yeah, but I also think if we can resuscitate, if within the next 24 hours, if you can find some stuff going on with, the issues around, because we've been getting a lot of inquisition about these Mason boards, where the story is now. And maybe we can just give a gist of 10 minutes, just to throw that in there, just to resuscitate the conversation. What do you think? Can you hear me?
yeah, let me block the fool first. You come on my platform and can't talk nonsense here. You guys are just so disrespectful. Okay, he's gone. I don't say mess, right? Okay. What you saying, Sheldon?
No, I was saying that if you're able to find something around the three missing boys within the next 24 hours before we come back tomorrow, if we should, just to give a little bit of update. That's one thing I don't want us to let die. I think is an important issue, and I don't know if possibly after these elections we can kind of get some of these newcomers to the Senate to bring this issue up to them. You know,
I mean, that's something that that
yeah.
we can do it well. That's a vision. We can do that. So I think I would get in contact with the people involved and see what they have in store, and we can talk about that as well. That's not a problem. Again, we're going to hang on to the vote counts and see what Nick has in store tomorrow. Hopefully, by the end of Sunday, they will announce the new set of senators. So that we can
Hmm.
put this out and have these people start to do the people's work.
Yeah,
Okay, my brother.
yeah, my brother. You take care and hang in there.
Yeah,
We'll catch up tomorrow. If we're going to broadcast, fine, let me know. If not,
yeah.
you know,
I'm
I'm
just too
sure
high.
by Monday we'll have enough.
Some of the air conditioning can't even work, my man. I can't wait. I think after Christmas and this after New Year, we got loan to be in the thing. I got to call the technician to work on this air conditioning. Okay, my man. Have a good night, bro. Let's talk tomorrow.
All right.
All right, bro. Well, folks, I'm afraid it's all the time I have to be with you. Where's my big brother, Rodney Cherson? Hello, Doc. He's in the building. Prosper Cole, Jacob G. Daniels, Jack Merck, John Way, Rose Side, George Tonia Louis, Smith Darwin, rest of the crew. Looking at it's clock. I also see Lorraine Jackson Christie, Howard Sudi, Edward Pay, Lassie Adolphus and Khan. And the rest of the crew, folks. That's all the time we'll have to be with you tonight, God willing. And we'll be back tomorrow night, same time, same place. As always, tough times don't last, tough people do. The height of a man is never known until he rises, because there's no second chance to make that first impression. Don't see okra and solid bone, because you came higher making it on living bucket. But God bless you, don't see that medicine. Women know you know your friend black man. There's no shadow in the dark. C'est tout pas y get c'est pas plus là j'ai quoi mais tu l'as dit Dani a pas saboué pas si un peu c'est quoi y pas bien medicine with the microphone, the golden voice of Liberia. Ashford the Giant. Now you go and call. Have a good night.